And we're recording. I'm just recording this little bit of me and my mate Flukedog's conversation we've been having for over an hour, and I thought, let's put a little bit of this up for everybody else to hear. So, my mate Fluke, what were we going to talk about? On to it.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you having me on. We talked about so many things. I'm sure you can put a brief explanation before you put the video out of all the things we spoke about.
Yeah,
but
mate.
we just transferred to talking about the COVID situation, and what I was trying to explain was, and I'll do a brief explanation. In the UK, the professional football season has started again. So 22 men can get on a football pitch, and exchange spit and conversation and scream at each other, scream at the fourth official, scream at the referee, bundle into corners, free kicks, link arms to defend a free kick and do all of this shit, but they won't get COVID. Right?
Unreal.
But all the substitutes that are waiting on the sidelines have to socially distance and wear masks. Because if you're in the stadium, you will get COVID. And if you're on the pitch, you won't get COVID. Right?
Oh
If I organised 22 of my friends to come down to where I live and play an amateur 90-minute game of football, I will be fined £10,000, and every participant could be fined over £200 for joining in with that football match. Because obviously COVID is so intelligent, it knows the difference between professional footballers and amateur footballers.
That is unreal, mate. Unreal. Little warning to all those people out there playing footy.
Here's another one for you. This is how manic it is, right? COVID seems to know that I think it was about 2 weeks ago. You could have 100 people round for a barbecue at your house on a Sunday night, but as of Monday morning, you can only allow 6 people round. So COVID knows that it's not going to infect you on Sunday because you've got 30 people around your house, but as of Monday, and you're only going to have 6 people around your house. If you have 7 people, you'll get infected.
That's unbelievable. I mean,
right,
I think it is. I think it's amazing.
I'll give you 2 more examples.
Go for it.
In the States, when the lockdowns eased in the States, right? This was all based on the science, apparently, the science, right? So when the lockdowns was eased in the States, in New Jersey and New York, right? They said that the powers that be said that you could go and congregate on the beach, right? But you weren't allowed to swim in the sea because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
You think that's funny? You think that's funny?
Oh, I think it's demented.
At the same time, based on the science, in California, you weren't allowed to congregate on the beach, but you were allowed to swim in the sea, based on the science.
Oh God.
Honestly, man, you can look that up. Look it up. I'm not saying a complete lie or anything.
Mate, the world's gone crazy. The world's gone COVID nuts.
Here's another one for you. Here's a fucking this one will seal the fucking deal. I trust you. Trust me on this.
Go for it.
In Wisconsin, last week in Wisconsin, right? Anybody that worked for the state of Wisconsin, if they were taking part in a Zoom call, a Skype chat, or any conference calls, right? They have to wear a mask while they're doing it.
On a conference call. Is it jumping through the telephone lines now?
So, COVID now has access to the internet.
Oh my
God! The most intelligent virus ever.
Perhaps COVID works for the NSA. I wonder if our mate Ed.
If people cannot see this bullshit for what it is, can live.
It's just another fear control system, mate. That's all it is. People are starting to stand up to the authority. People are starting to learn a lot more knowledge because of our grade 1 telephone system.
You and I can talk over the internet in Wisconsin as long as we're not public servants.
Oh, geez.
So we won't be infected by COVID.
Should I put on a mask? Who knows?
If it makes you feel better.
That's
And
unbelievable.
here we go. And that's the thing. It's just like the bullshit is just unbelievable. Actually, I saw a meme or something. I can't remember which video I saw it on. I saw a video,
Mm,
and this will make you laugh, right? Let's bring a bit of humour into this.
please.
It said, if you're wearing a mask in your car, right, can I assume that it just stops you from licking the windows?
Oh my God. That's a beautiful one. Did you actually hear about that guy that fell out of an airplane without a parachute? He died of COVID. There was
Oh,
someone else that
he
got
died
hit
of
by a
COVID.
truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died of COVID. You know, it's the mentality, and we've just had the
Well, this is
we
what
just
they're
had the
doing.
elections
In the
yesterday.
UK now, what they're doing is they're saying is if you tested positive for COVID on say the 1st of October, and you die of any other alternative cause of death in the next 28 days, it will be recorded as a COVID death. So you could test positive for COVID on the 1st of October and die in a motorcycle accident, it will be recorded as a COVID death. If
Unbelievable.
that's not fudging the fucking numbers, I don't know what is.
It's certainly helping the narrative versus the truth, which is what it boils down to.
Exactly.
You know, the general people are watching the narrative. They're not, I don't think, actually interested in the truth. It's the whole fear-based mentality. And once everybody gets a bit of knowledge there, the fear goes. So let's bring in the next boogeyman. You know, we had normal wars, then we had the war on terror, the unseen boogeyman. Now we've got the war on the micro-terrorists, the unseen fucking viruses. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that they just...
Again, we can go back to the war on terror. We spoke about this earlier. The war
Yes.
on terror in the UK. A UK citizen is 6 times more likely to die in police custody than they are being killed by a terrorist. So
Wow.
who's the terrorist?
Well, I
I
clearly...
did that research. Not only did I do that research myself, I printed off every page, 25 pages of all my research, and I sent it recorded delivery to the BBC and said they can publish it without even giving me any credit for it. They were welcome to publish it.
You were
And
just
I never
informing
heard
them.
back from the BBC.
And so what does that show the
'Cause
BBC wants to do?
It doesn't, because it doesn't fit with the narrative. The narrative is about fear and control.
Yep.
That's why the BBC never got back to me and they never published any of my research.
I reckon after the COVID fear wears off and people actually wake up to it, there'll be the what's the next great boogie? Oh, aliens will be next, because that's, you know, playing by the Bilderberg rules of how to break down the society. If you go and read into all of that, they try all these different tactics to keep people in some form of control. So it'll be aliens, or it'll be earthquakes,
Have you seen the stuff coming out of Canada? Have you seen the stuff coming out of Canada
in regards to what?
in regards to COVID?
Oh, I've been
They're
watching
saying this-
Rebel News over there is quite good for letting you know what's going on.
And they're actually setting up internment camps if they feel like you will not comply
Wow.
with COVID regulations, right? And when a member of parliament in Canada asked the question, why is there such a broad scope? It's not saying international travellers. It doesn't say anything like that about people leaving the country or returning to the country, have to quarantine or this, that, and the other. There's nothing in the scope of this legislation. It's just saying, if the government thinks that you might not fucking believe in their bullshit, they can stick you in an internment camp in Canada.
Wow.
And they've even sent out contracts to private companies to build these internment camps and run them.
Big money. Big money. The Department
Money
of, yeah.
and control. Money and control.
Yep, Serco over here in New Zealand, it's on the stock exchange. It's worth about $1 trillion at the moment, and that's just the corrections facility, you know, for New Zealand. It's unbelievable what people are trying to do. Anyway, I'll keep this recording just short, because we all know people's attention spans can get a bit, you know, short. So I'll stop this recording. We'll go back to our private chat, but I just wanted everybody to know how stupid and the actual false narrative that's getting played, and it's all just to keep you in a power under their foot. So you are controlled, and in one way or another they will keep trying to keep the fear alive and at the same time make a shitload of money for any people that won't stand up for their rights. You know, it's ridiculous. Thanks very much, Fluke.
I tell you what, can I just make one more point?
Final word, bro. Go for it.
About a couple of years ago, I did a video about the private security industry in the United Kingdom and how private prisons were becoming, becoming the norm. Yes. And it was a problem, reaction, solution. Now, what the government did was they made out that they couldn't incarcerate rapists because there wasn't enough beds in the prison. They couldn't incarcerate burglars because there wasn't enough spaces in the prison. They had to release them on contract or, give them 0 paid hours and have to work in the community and stuff like this. And what this did was it created a reaction from the public. They were angered. Why aren't you incarcerating these people? Yeah. And the whole problem was the fact that they wanted to introduce a private prison system. And in a private prison system, it's about making profit. Yeah? Yeah, it's privatisation. Introduce private security guards, introduce private security guards, private security companies. There's no way of saying, look, here's a system of education for these people to release them in the public after their sentences, but they can be productive people in society. And what do you need? If you run a private prison, what do you need? You need repeat customers.
Yeah, of course. Got to keep the cycle.
That was the whole point.
Unreal.
So you introduce an element of fear in the public that rapists and burglars and murderers and people like that are going to just be sent back into society because there's no beds for them in the prison. The fear-based reaction from the public is this isn't good enough, And what was the government's solution? A private prison system, which is exactly what they had planned in the first place.
Yeah, we had that over.
Problem, reaction, solution.
We had
the
that.
solution was already in place.
Yeah.
And now we have 16 private prisons in the UK, and the first one was introduced by Prime Minister Theresa May in 2010.
Wow.
She signed off the first private prison in the UK to G4S, right? And guess who was on the board of directors of G4S at the time? Theresa May's husband.
Oh, what are the chances? Clearly, there's no conflict of interest going on. I mean, Theresa's representing the people. The people don't give a shit about the husband, but she does.
And you know how they do it as well? Her name, Theresa May, and his name isn't May. So that's how they deflect it.
Yeah, points of separation.
There's points of separation. So they're trying to deflect that sort of connection between those two people. And it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz, mate.
Anyway,
don't look behind the curtain. No worries, mate. Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for having me on, man. You're a top man. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.